Right, I'm going back to carbonising some sugar with sulphuric acid. It's always a favourite. Lots of people have done it. It's all over YouTube. I just want to produce some carbon again and try it. It's been reacting for about 30 seconds at the moment, so getting some thermal activity there. So we're now just over a minute in, and away we go. There it is. Obviously everything's going up into the fume hood. Hope that jar's up to it. There it is, rising up the jar. And I've never actually measured this temperature. I wonder if I can find my gizmo. Alright, let me just pause this. Okay. 102 degrees. 100 on the jar, more or less. 117. Yeah, it's quite hot. Yeah, too hot to touch. But quite a nice reaction there. I wasn't coughing them because of the fumes, because they're being taken away, but just let that cool down a bit. Definitely got some carbon there. Okay, the black snake experiment. Everyone's seen it before. There are hundreds of videos on YouTube and all the rest of it, but I've gone back to looking at sugars again for various reasons. I used to use sugar carbons quite a lot, and they do work, and they do work well. I know now that I can get them to work better. This carbon, one thing that struck me about that method, that sulphuric acid method, was the yield that you get from the sugar, you know, the carbon yield. Now, you know, it works by dehydration of the sugar with sulphuric acid, we know that, basically because of the water content that's in sugar. And this stuff, which is the carbon, has got the consistency of a really fine sand on a beach, let's say. Not a coarse, but a fine. But I want that finer, so that's going to go in my big bad boy machine over there to powderise it a bit more. And we want the consistency of flour, let's say. So it's back to sugar. Now, I got a bigger yield than you would normally see on YouTube on the videos. And what I did was, I just added more sulphuric. They kind of sort of do it volume wise, you know, volume of sugar, volume of sulphuric acid. I did half again on the sulphuric, and I got a much better yield. So I mean, there's a good tip really. if you ever try it to produce your carbon. Now, I mean, that carbon as it is, it's not a fantastic carbon as it is. It's not even conductive, to be honest. So it's either going to go in the microwave or in a kiln, one or the other, and we'll make it conductive. But I will be doing tests with it as it is as well. So that's that bit. So why did I get so fascinated about sugars again? Well, someone said to me ages ago, you should look at glucose. I can't remember who suggested it now, but look at glucose. So I did. And when you look at glucose, the molecule, I mean, it's glucose. But one of the things that struck me straight away was the chemical formula: C6H12 O6, sorry. So 6 carbons, 12 hydrogens and 6 oxygens, and it's written like that. And it was just the balance: 12 hydrogens and 6 oxygens. I think that's the bit that caught my eye initially. I don't know why, it just did. But when you look at the molecule as a chain, there's all sorts going on there. Hydroxyl groups, all sorts of bonding, and I'm going to do a video on this, purely about this, and what we can do with it, and what can happen, and what other bonding we can make happen, and stuff like that. So it's all really interesting, very interesting, and it caught my eye, and it's still got my attention now, and I'm doing lots and lots and lots and lots of homework on this one, for various reasons, and I will produce a video talking more about that, and well, not talking more but showing more, because I looked at that and I thought, yeah, okay, there's something, how can I put it, we can make this work in another direction as a carbon on a battery. So and since then I've spoken to 1 or 2 people that have that actually use this stuff. Quite how and why and all the rest of it, they use it. For what purpose, I don't know. I know my purpose for it. So and I have been testing it. I've been testing with it. So yeah, sugar carbons, back to sugar carbons as well. Blimey, as if I haven't got enough on my plate. But there you go, that's that bit. I'll catch you soon. Okay, so that's the before. That's the consistency of a very, very fine beach sand, shall we say. And I'm just going to show you the after now when I've pounded it in my wonderful machine. Okay, so this is the after then. Anyone that's serious about making carbons needs to invest in one of these, really. 25,000 revs a minute. Degree of grinding 50 to 300 mesh. So it's, you know, it's a powerful machine. And what this is, it turns stuff into flour, or that type of a powder, you know. And the only other thing I could say is that anything that's kind of better than this would be a mill of some kind, like the RMS 3-roll mill that he's shown us many times for grinding stuff up really, really fine. But I've got to be honest, this is good enough for me, and you know, that's what you get. Lovely black fine powder. It's about as fine as, you know, fine ground activated carbon. So I'm not going to get that out now and put it into that tub, because I need to put my extractor fan on first, and I should be wearing gloves anyway, shouldn't I? But there we go. I'll just sort of show you the after as well as the before on that sugar carbon. Now it's time to get some either in the microwave or the kiln and make some of it conductive. Over and out. Okay, so there it is then. That's what we're after. It's lovely, lovely fine powder. Okay. Okay, got some more sugar and sulphuric acid on the go. Obviously the fumes are being taken away. Nice exothermic reaction there. Now we started off down there, we're up to here so far. There's the sugar snake attempting to get to the top there, look. And it just about got to the top of the jar. It is sugar carbon. Okay, just a quick video really on producing this sugar carbon with sulphuric acid. Of interest to some people, not to others. That's the way it goes, isn't it? But for those that don't know this bit, and obviously some of you will, washing and filtering that stuff, nightmare. If you do make it, if you haven't made it before, and you break it all up out of the jar, you've then got to wash the stuff. Now if you chuck it in a tub with some water, and change the water daily, or let's say you change it 6 times in a day, you won't get rid of the acid. You will not get rid of that sulphuric. It's there and that's it. This is what you've got to do. You've got to break it up as fine as you can, and I do mean as fine as you can. No big lumps. Chuck it in a bucket with some water and neutralise the acid. Don't expect to be able to wash that acid out of that sugar carbon, because it ain't happening. It will not happen. I've tried it and it didn't work. I was there forever. So I got myself a big old tub of, I don't know if I can find the tub now, but I did that that jar, I did it 3 times. Big yield. I think the reason it didn't come out the top of the jar is because the jar is so wide. All of the best experiments you see with that is in like a glass, you know, a drinking glass or something like that, and it comes out the top. Anyways, I chucked a load of bicarbonate of soda in there, and it just neutralised the acid. Once all the fizzing stops, that's it. Give it a quick stir again and you'll see some more fizzing. Even, you know, change the water and do it again. But that's what I did. And then it was lovely. I gave it a final couple of washes, really. It was all neutral, that was it, lovely. And I ended up with some nice carbon at the end of the day. Very fine flour. What I'm going to do is like I've said, is fire that in. I'll probably fire it in the kiln actually. I've got one more. I can't see it. It was there. I've got one more brick to put in. I've shown it on a video anyway, so you know exactly what I'm talking about with the heating element. Not expecting it to last. They are definitely not right. So that's that really. Maybe another couple of videos to follow this, short ones like this. Catch you in a bit. Still supporting.